Nokia is officially out of the smartphone market again. However, the company that's been making Nokia phones over the last couple of years, HMD Global, is still here. So meet their flagship product, the HMD Skyline, which is the most Nokia-inspired smartphone made over the last couple of years, funny enough. Honestly speaking, the only reason I bought this phone is because of its design. And I've been using it for the last couple of months, and I would overall give it a rating of about 7 out of 10. So that's it from me. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to share, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Of course, I'm just kidding. So let me break down what I love about it, what I like, what's average, and what I hate in full details. So let's get straight into it. Here's the quick unboxing experience. What you see here is the UAE launch bundle, which comes with a bunch of extra stuff that you won't get in every market the device comes in. But you can see it comes with magnetic wireless charger and affordable earbuds. The device comes in a pink box, no matter which color you go for. I opted for topaz blue, which I think looks really good. But the unboxing experience is pretty bare bones. The only thing you get is the device, the USB-C cable, and the SIM ejection tool. A really cute touch is that the USB-C to USB-C cable also comes in the same color as the device that you buy. Maybe shipping globally with the UAE launch bundle would have been a wiser decision, but here we are, because I really like the overall bundle. So what do I love about the HMD Skyline? Of course, the number one most important thing for me is the design. Whether you're a Nokia OG who fell in love with the Fabula design language or a Lumia fan, the HMD Skyline's design will definitely tickle your fancy. It just looks like an evolution of that design language, kind of like a Nokia N9 and a Lumia 830 had a baby. And honestly, it looks stunning. It's one of my favorite phone designs since probably 2014. You've got the curved sides, the flat top and bottom, and the display kind of just melts into the frame. I really can't praise the design of this thing enough. I just really wish that the cameras on the back were centered, and then I would have given it a 10 out of 10. And it's been a while since I fanboyed over a design, but here we are. Nostalgia is a really powerful drug. If you squint long enough, you look at this and it just looks like a modern day N9. And yeah, it's the main reason I bought this, so that tells you everything you need to know really. The second thing that I really love is the build quality, as the Skyline feels like it's extremely well built. It's got a really thick aluminum frame all around that feels super solid in the hand. There's a satin finish on the glass panel on the back, which doesn't gather fingerprints, which is great. And the buttons all around are very clicky and very satisfying to use. As a matter of fact, I've been using this phone without a case for a while now, and I've dropped it multiple times and it's still held up really well. It feels like an old school chunky Nokia phone, and it weighs 210 grams, so it definitely feels heavier than your average smartphone. The third thing that I love is the repairability aspect. It is one of the coolest aspects about this phone and really makes it stand out amongst almost every other smartphone out there. You can easily pop the back panel off just using one screwdriver that you can buy from iFixit and replace the battery yourself. It will take you about 5 minutes to do that. You can even replace the display in under 20 minutes. For me, it's amazing that they've done this, and huge kudos to them for even trying to do this in today's smartphone market. And despite the repairability aspect and how easy it is to open up the phone, it also still comes with an IP54 splash resistance rating, so if you're walking under the rain, you shouldn't have any issues. They've really struck a good balance between making it repairable, making it feel incredibly solid and well built, and having a really beautiful design. The last thing that I love about this phone is that it's got the Qi 2 wireless charging. I've been a fan of wireless charging since 2012 with the Lumia 920, believe it or not, and I'm glad that they've managed to retain this feature on this phone, despite it being technically a mid-range phone. Qi 2 also means that it's got magnets, meaning any of the accessories that you can buy on this with magnets will stick to the device, like a wallet or even a wireless charger, so that's really good. And this feature is only really available on the iPhone. Wireless charging speed is at 15 watts, which isn't so bad. And a little fun fact is that I still have the Fatboy Pillow wireless charger that came with my Nokia Lumia 930, which I bought in 2014. Now moving on to the things that I like about the Skyline. So these are things that aren't absolutely amazing or blew me away, but are pretty good features that the device has. Number one is the versatile camera system. So even though none of the cameras on this phone individually are world beaters by any means, they're all fairly decent. You've got the 108 megapixel main camera with optical image stabilization. You also get a 50 megapixel 2x telephoto lens and a 13 megapixel ultra-wide camera. Usually this kind of versatility is mainly offered on flagships, so it's nice to see that it's available on a mid-range device like this one. I also like the color processing, which is fairly natural, and it's also one of the old school Nokia trademarks. The only time the camera overdoes it with processing is in night mode, where the pictures look over-sharpened. But it's kind of like a solution to make up for the fact that none of the cameras here are super in any way. I just wish that the main sensor was of a higher quality, as you can definitely see the limitations of this when things get slightly dark, and the autofocus isn't always stellar, so sometimes the device does struggle a bit to get the exact right point of focus. By the way, a big surprise is the selfie camera, which is a 50 megapixel sensor, and it does produce quite good pictures. The second thing that I like is that the device has got stereo speakers. So at max volume, you can definitely tell that the volume becomes a bit tinny, but the speakers are really loud. The third thing that I like is the display, which ticks all the right boxes. So it's a 6.55 inch display at a 1080p resolution, so it's fairly sharp. It's a POLED panel, so you get really deep blacks and really good contrast. And it can go up to 144 Hz of refresh rate. So the average, if you put it on adaptive, is up to 120, so it's fairly smooth whenever you're using it. It also has HDR10 support and can reach up to 1000 nits of maximum brightness. So that's not the brightest in its class, but I had no issues using the device even under direct sunlight. The fourth thing that I like about the device is the custom button. So it's located on the left-hand side, and it's even got a texture to it. You can easily reprogram this for it to do anything. So the default settings, if you double press, you'll enable the flashlight. And if you long press, you'll change between the profiles from silent to loud, etc. It's a really useful feature for me, as it means that I use the screen of the device a bit less and reach the things that I want to do quickly without having to go through menus. The fifth thing that I like is that the device still has an SD card slot, so if you want to expand on your storage, you can easily do that to keep all your multimedia away from the internal storage of the device. And finally, detox mode, which is an HMD addition to the software that allows you to completely have control over the kind of notifications that you get with a soft lock or a hard lock feature. And the point of this is that you use your device a bit less, you get less notifications and less distractions, and you can set time limits. It's quite a cool feature, and it's good to see that it's implemented quite well here. Now moving on to the things that I'm quite indifferent about. So starting with the near stock Android software. I know some people like it because it's fairly minimal, and the light software also is quite easy on the hardware, meaning that you get a nice smooth experience overall. And I also know that some people don't like it because it kind of lacks character and it just feels a bit forgettable. So I'm quite indifferent. I will end up using my own launcher on this, and here I've installed the smart launcher, and I also put the Mehhhh icon pack, so it looks almost like a Nokia N9 in a way with its design language. So that's how I like to roll. HMD added a couple of cool things though, so you've got detox mode, which I've talked about, and also black icon pack, which looks fairly good. Now moving on to the day-to-day performance, which isn't a highlight, but also not a bad thing. So the device is fairly smooth when you use it on a day-to-day basis. It's also fairly fast, and most of the time you won't even realize that it's using a mid-range chipset, in this case the 7S Gen 2. The high refresh rate also helps keep up with the illusion because of how smooth it is. You only really realize that this isn't a high-end chipset because occasionally there will be missed frame rates here and there, and the gaming performance is average. So if you're big into games, like to have the highest graphical settings, there are better options out there. For me, I'm not big on gaming on a phone, and the only time I notice it is when I'm using the camera, as there's slight shutter lag when you're capturing images or even switching between different settings. Thankfully though, unlike previous mid-range chipsets, this one supports 4K video recording. Another thing under the meh category is the video quality. The video quality is fairly average, though I do like the color processing, but the stabilization is average at best. And nighttime video, like a lot of Android devices, especially in this segment, is quite poor. Though I do have to mention that the device comes with also audio support, so the audio quality from the video is decent. So the last aspect under the average or meh category is the battery life. The phone comes with a 4600 milliamp battery, which is slightly below average in this class, around 5000 milliamps, I'd guess. And based on my own usage, I'm able to get between 6 and 8 hours of screen on time. It's not bad by any means, but it's not excellent, so you'll end up with about 1.5 days of usage on average. I wouldn't exactly call this an endurance champion. Charging speed is limited to 33 watts, so it takes about an hour and 15 minutes to fully charge the device. And now moving on to the ugly, or the bad, the things that I don't like about the HMD Skyline. And we'll start with the software support. So the device is promised only 2 years of major OS updates and 3 years of security updates. HMD, when they were using the Nokia brand, was at the upper echelon of software support and updates, especially when they first started. And this device is on the lower end of that scale. And based on my experience so far, the security updates aren't as consistent as I'd like them to be. I'm still running on maybe the December patch or the November patch, I'm not even sure. The second thing that I don't like are the software bugs. So I've recently received Android 15 a couple of days ago, still fresh when it comes to using it, but there are still a couple of bugs. I've noticed that sometimes the volume rocker won't immediately react, so you're changing volumes when you're watching a video and it takes a couple of seconds for the volume to actually adjust. Another one that I've noticed is in the YouTube app, sometimes the software is unstable. So you're clicking on the screen to pause, for example, and the device won't react. And there are a couple of other bugs here and there. And I would really expect the device that's been out on the market for the past 4 months to have these all completely squashed, but it doesn't seem to be the case, unfortunately. But by far the most disappointing aspect of the HMD Skyline, and the thing that I personally hate the most, is the haptic engine or the vibration motor. It's downright atrocious. For what is such a well-built, beautiful device that costed around $500 at launch, the haptic engine single-handedly stays there to remind you that this is by no means a flagship device. And I really hope that HMD takes this aspect of the device a bit more seriously, especially with future iterations. It's the small things that really help enhance the experience or bring it down a notch. And yeah, haptic engine on this device, definitely a huge letdown. Here are my final thoughts. The Nokia brand, for better or worse, is out of the smartphone market. This, for me as a Nokia fan, is obviously a bit sad. But it could also be HMD's biggest blessing. They no longer have to meet the almost impossible standards that me as a Nokia fan and others have set on the brand when they see the Nokia logo. And they can finally carve out their own path. One which the HMD Skyline is a part of, and it's a solid first step. It looks absolutely stunning thanks to its design and colors. It feels very well made and durable. Its performance is fairly decent, though not on the cutting edge. And it's got a nice versatile camera system. It even has a couple of unique features, like its Gen 2 repairability and easily removable back, which is quite genius in today's anti-consumer smartphone world, in my opinion. It's got the Qi 2 wireless charger with magnets, which is a quite cool touch. Now, would I recommend this phone for absolutely everybody? No, not really, even though it's quite a solid 7 out of 10 for me. However, if you're still yearning for that Nokia nostalgia and you want a decent phone, but you're also willing to compromise a bit on top-end performance, for the sake of repairability and uniqueness, then I think the HMD Skyline is a solid choice for you. So, what do you guys think about the HMD Skyline? Share your thoughts with me in the comments down below. For nostalgia-induced content, check out this video here, or if you're into the digital detoxing, check out this video here. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to share, like, and subscribe to support the channel, and I shall see you in the next one.